We got you. How we doing?
It's 3:34.
I was trying to.
Wake up, Spencer. Wake up.
You know what? My bad.
What was going on there?
I'm not gonna tell you. You'll get mad at me.
Jesus. All right. All right.
I had my mute. I didn't have my mute on my headset, but I had my mute on my computer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How you like my shirt?
I love it. I love it.
This is home, Ann Arbor, Michigan. I know everyone's disappointed. I don't have my my long sleeve button down on, but I was taking some heat this morning, and I had to peel down into the t-shirt. So now I could be a bum like you and Dennis.
You were taking some heat on which trade?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Got to take some heat, you know.
Hey, smash the like for Joel taking some heat. Smash that. You got to
take. If you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. Is what I have to say.
Like Hell's Kitchen, man. I'll get Chef Ramsay in there.
Yeah, you sound a little tired. You've been doing the old day voice thing there, Mitch. You should have heard how ragged Spencer was on Monday, man. I thought
long week for Spencer, I'm sure.
I thought I was on with Tony Montana or something. He was really bad. But anyways, we're ripping here. We're ripping north, and that's pretty much the way it was from the opening bell, at least for the afternoon session. We got all-time high 39.12. We are 9 points above that. The only number I got up top is Wednesday's high at 28.50. The way we're moving now, that's only 7 points away. So even though some of the big caps aren't moving, the little guys are moving, and they're moving us higher. Crude, 1 day sell-off, and now you're up $1.29 at 59.53. Getting ready to kiss $60. Holy moly. When's the last time we've seen 60? Gold. I'm sick of looking at gold. Down 830 at 1860. Silver going the opposite way. That's up 26 cents at 27.31. And Bitcoin, is just revving up for 50K over the 3-day weekend, right? Can do it. They can't do it when I'm watching it. Maybe doing it over the weekend. But the futures are up $355 at 47,880.
The old 3-day weekend trick. In Bitcoin. Did you see Disney today, Joel?
You know what? I was too busy telling my Disney story to really. Oh, and I didn't even leave it in my writing in there. I didn't save it. They got way overdone in this thing. They got this thing to 198 last night in the after hours, and then they did okay. Let's see here. Let's get the after hours. I mean, this thing had a major run. We were at 160 on January 27th, right? 160. And then Disney tacks on 30 points ahead of the report. You have to be goofy not to sell into that thing. And here's the 60-minute chart to illustrate a little bit better. I mean, what else can you want? I mean, come on. You make a new all-time high yesterday, an all-time closing high. You're down 283. And Spencer, you talked about the numbers. I mean, are they double, triple counting the numbers for the subscribers? You pointed that out this morning.
I didn't point that out. I was just relaying what they had pointed out on the Lightshed Partners Twitter live chat, whatever the hell that was last night. It's a good point. I mean, they're not being misleading, they're not being malicious about it, but it's worth noting when they say they have ESPN Plus subscribers, Disney Plus subscribers, and Hulu subscribers. It could be the same person.
Yeah. I mean, what do I have? I have Wide World of Sports, and I'm not on Hulu. I mean, what do I have? I just have regular cable. I don't have little kids running around, so I don't have the Disney Plus or whatever. But I think both of my girls do. They like watching those. Man, I remember some of the old shows they used to watch. You're probably like around the same age. Did Hannah Montana start out on Disney?
Yeah, I mean, that's a little after my time, but yeah.
Oh, really? You're the same age as Dana, aren't you? Hannah and Even Steven, right?
I'll be honest, I wasn't much of a Disney Channel guy.
Keenan and Cal? So, come on.
Anyway, but
you know what my favorite was, though?
No.
Was Go Ask Ashley? Was that on the Disney show?
No, I really don't know.
Really?
I really don't know. I'm sorry.
What about you? Oh man. Okay. Anyways,
Right,
that's the Disney story.
I'm working on getting Sean Udall connected so we can bring him on in a second. But what it was just another situation of it was a good report, but it just can't hold gains at the open.
This has been the trend, though, hasn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's been at least in these big caps.
Yeah.
Apple, you saw what happened. Microsoft, that sold off a little bit, but that was a little bit of a market tizzy. JP Morgan, same kind of thing. I mean, that's just been the trend. They've been trimming in these stocks and going into the small caps. And we've seen that trend that's been the trend for this earnings season. Now, there are exceptions to the fact, like, holy moly, now I know why I don't look at Twitter. Man, because I'd sell that thing. Look at that,
Man.
71, 75. So it's not across the board, but it's certainly, sort of trended some of the big caps, and it's just, taking it and, asset allocation. That's what's been going on.
Someone is asking about John's asking about Neo. Let's look at Neo today.
What's that up? $97 or something?
No, not anywhere near there.
Well, why are we looking at Neo? This thing isn't doing anything.
I don't. Okay, fine. John, why are you looking at Neo, John? Come on.
Yeah, come on. I don't know. What do you want? I can't make the thing move. I'll just do this. I mean, this is things with people. They like these stocks have these tremendous moves, and then they pull back a little bit, and then they go nowhere, and they complain about it. And these stocks just can't keep going up and up and up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's your level in the sand, your 50% retracement. Better hold in here, or I think you go back down under 55. If you can somehow grab a bid here, go up and take out that all-time high. But that's the only thing I'm seeing in Neo.
All right, Janet Lowe is bringing up Six Flags. Holy cow. I have not looked at this stock for a hot second. Oh, my goodness.
SIXX?
Just SIX, just 6.
Okay.
It's back to where it was a year ago. Oh, my gosh.
It's above, right? No? Let's see.
I mean, yeah, maybe by a couple dollars. Sure.
Are we what's going on with Sean?
Sean is coming back in. He's getting a new computer. Is coming back on, so he'll be on with us in a moment.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is Cedar Point, right?
No, Cedar Point is
Six Flags.
Cedar Point is fun. Cedar Point's fun.
This is what the street is thinking on that everyone, once they get their vaccine. Oh, that's another thing I did this afternoon. I signed up to volunteer at a hospital so I could get my vaccine. I did. I got to get the hell out of this house.
Don't admit that out loud. Is that something you want to admit out loud? I don't know.
Why?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't
want to stay in this house forever. I want to get out, man.
All right, fine.
Lisa was bugging me until I did it, so I did it.
All right.
Hopefully they won't take me. No, I'm just joking. But wow, it looks a little toppy here. This Six Flags, and this is also this is a big area. Your January high from last year was right here. Now you a couple daily highs here. So there you go, clear line in the sand, and more vaccines. Better off we are.
All right, we've got Sean Udall. I mentioned him coming on about 10 minutes ago or so. At Udall Tech Strat on Twitter. Let's bring him on. No video, just audio. Sean, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
All right, well, hold on a second. Good bubble market, Benzinga.
That's it. All-time highs, baby. That's it.
Doesn't quite have the same ring as Good Morning, Benzinga. And by the way, you people aren't seeing my lovely face because I'm looking at about 5 stock screens here just in case I got to sell something before the close.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, so you guys, what's going on?
Well, just to answer someone in the chat, Joel uses TradeStation. That's what those charts are. What's going on? We're going to be at all-time highs in like a second.
Well, we are.
Hey, Sean, all-time highs for the 80,000th time. It's not really a big deal.
Okay, fine.
Hey, Sean, we've had various discussions over the years, but I don't think I've shared with anyone the discussion that we had, and I'm going to have to pull up the Twitter chart, maybe sometime in mid 2017, we were so depressed that Twitter wouldn't go up that we were thinking of taking it private. Do you remember that?
We did talk about that, and I said it's not going to go for a fire sale price, as I've always said. But at the time, 40 probably would have got it done, and I think the deal talk was way lower. So yeah, it's probably going to 100 now or something. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I just try not to look at it. So, and I'm only going to.
Oh, hey, I like it. I still have it. So,
I know. It's you can't sell in this market, but I'm not a big SPAC fan. Okay. But everyone on Wall Street is, okay. Dennis and Spencer and Mitch and everybody. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on them, but could you give me just your spitball approach to SPACs and maybe one or two that are on your radar?
Well, yeah, sure. So real quick. So to me, SPACs are the greatest thing ever because I will take my ability to read an investment deck against the rest of the world all day long for the rest of my life. So what I've been doing is early on, now some of them you kind of have to be there kind of pre-deal when you get the news, you hear, I mean, Nicola was the first one, BTIQ. But skills I hit really good. So by the way, I still have most of my skills, still like it. I could have sold, 40 was a little crazy, but I think it's going higher. And so anyway, you read the deck. Now, it's gotten tougher. Skills was a beautiful time. By the way, I screwed up on DraftKings, DEAC. I was all over that. I delayed, I waited. Then I didn't want to buy it at like 16 or whatever the first deal pop was, and it just kept going. So
which one was that?
DraftKings became DraftKings.
Yeah.
FEAC became Skills. Same team that did DraftKings. So I mean, I do the typical stuff I do with every company. I look at the management team. I look at the quality. How deep of pockets do they have? But the biggest thing is, hey, look, I can look at a deck. I can read financial statements. That is something I'm great at and always have been. In a market where high skilled people can read a deck and make a determination, I will take that market all day long. Here's the issue. Does that mean you buy QS when it's 70 just because you like the deck? Of course not. But you can buy QS at 12, it's a whole different story. So you have to know what you're paying for. I mean, BFT's been great. Some of these are tough though. You have to be really quick. I think we had a morning or two to buy BFT. Like I'm talking 12.50 and lower. And pretty soon it was 14.50. Honestly, I mean, that's not terrible. 17.22, it's not terrible.
What about Fubo?
Well, Fubo, was that a SPAC? I literally own Fubo from 9-something. That was one of my big picks for my private feed. Really still have most of it, probably 50 to 80%, somewhere in there. I've traded in and out of it a couple times. Was Fubo a SPAC though? I'm not sure.
Okay, no, it doesn't. It did something.
It might have
different.
been.
No, I think I stand corrected.
I think that was like a reverse merger. It was a non-IPO IPO, but I don't think it was a SPAC.
Oh, it was.
I don't think it was.
Okay, I think you're right. I think it went over to New York and it.
So here's one more to mention.
What'd you say, Spencer?
Fubo was on the OTC markets, and they uplisted is what they did.
Uplisted. That's exactly right. Uplisted. So, but I think it kind of depends. I think you pick your spots. What's going to happen with the SPAC cycle is what happened with every IPO cycle. Eventually, there will be too much inventory, too many of the good assets have been grabbed. You'll just have a hard time. Garbage in equals garbage out. Eventually, these guys will be forced to buy garbage, and the people buying the SPAC deals, the late SPAC deals, won't do very well.
What about Clover? CLOV.
I actually like Clover. It's funny you mentioned. I actually bought more Clover yesterday. I like the deal at the right price. I did not like it. Like a winner at highs, I wasn't buying it. But I think the short report's going to be really wrong. Those guys were short BE at 3. I think they were short Infinera, INFN at like 5. So that group of guys, they nailed Nicola. Give them credit for that. But I don't know if they've hit much besides Nikola. In fact, I don't know if they've hit another one besides Nikola.
Have you got toasted on it? You got toasted on any of these?
I've had a couple I've just basically scrubbed for kind of break even. What was the SPAC symbol before UWMC, the mortgage SPAC that seems to go down every day? Kind of like Rocket. Rocket seems to go down every day.
What do you think about Rocket? What do you think about Rocket, Sean?
Rocket feels like a stock. Oh, go ahead, Spencer.
It was GHIV.
Yeah, GHIV. I made some money on it, but I mean, that was like the toughest 15% I think I've ever made in a SPAC. So I'm long that again. I think I bought that 2 days ago at 918, 925, something like that. I bet you I'm down on it. Here, let me punch it up. UWMC. Oh, look at there. I am down on it. Oh yeah, no. No, Rocket feels like a stock that the whole world wants to go up because everybody's in it. So therefore, you know what happens with us. It will work great when everybody that likes it now is out of it. You know, everybody being a lot of the people. It'll scrub a bunch of people out. Fed rates will go up. There will be some mini Fed scare. Everybody will freak out that nobody's going to refi a home again. Rocket, Rocket really cheap would almost be like, $15 would probably be crazy.
Oh, don't say that around here. Okay, just real quick update S&Ps. I thought we had a chance at that all-time high. And what do we got? We got 9 minutes to go. We just hit 2750. That all-time high is from Wednesday at 2850. We're knocking on the door going into the 3-day weekend. Now, Sean, you and I mean, it doesn't do any good. We've always looked for, frothy stocks, and we have caught, some things on the short side here. It's been a pretty dangerous game to play. Is there anything? I know you don't jump in it all at once, and you just don't short something. You'll go with put spreads and stuff. Is there anything out there that's on the Sean Udar radar, maybe getting a little frothy for you?
I haven't really felt like shorting a ton of stuff. I have some hedges and some shorts. Honestly, if I just were to go say, look, I want to hedge and I want a low dollar trade that could become a good hedge if you get an out of nowhere sharp drop. SQQ, so S triple Q calls.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but here's the thing though. So it's a degrading asset,
yes.
and you have a rising market. At some point, you're going to get a wake up 10% correction call. Could come anytime. But the thing about this, so what's funny is if you look at like calls on, like if you were to buy puts on QQQ as a hedge, well, you can lose 100% of that. So, but if you buy calls on the S triple Q, they're generally way cheaper than puts on the QQQ are, and you have 3 times leverage. Now it's a degrading asset, so you can't say you get 3 times leverage indefinitely. But you
want to explain that? I mean, a lot of our listeners know what that is.
What part of it?
The degrading asset.
Well, okay, so so there's a lot of levered ETFs that don't degrade, meaning don't price degrade. So QLD and QID are double levered to the QQQ. So if you look at the charts of those, they match, they mirror, they track, right? Where a ton of these triple levered instruments have price degradation. I think Dennis could probably tell you I think it has something to do with the fees it costs to roll the futures every month or something
what's
like that.
The symbol on the double leveraged?
The double is QLD and QID. The triple leverage that I'm referring to is the SQQQ. So, but here's the thing. So if you got triple leverage, okay, well then you buy calls on top of it. Again, this is a hedge. So your worst case is you can lose 100% of your capital on the calls. Well, the best case is if you time it right and you catch 15% correction, those SQQ calls are going to fly.
Yeah, we just blasted through. Just real quick update. S&Ps, we just reached the 3930 handle for the first time in history. No resistance in here. Not much in here. We even haven't had much of a daily range. We got about 6 minutes left. Sean, when is this rotation going to stop? I mean, we don't talk about Apple. We don't talk about Microsoft. We don't talk about Amazon. We don't talk about Google or Facebook. I mean, this has just been an incredible run. Now the small caps have been beaten down for years and years and years. I mean, is this the new trend, or do you think?
I mean,
I kind of feel like you need the big caps. Am I wrong?
Well, we have a rotation to value, we have a rotation to small cap value, and we have a rotation to small cap growth. All started about early to mid last year, right, post Corona. So, or post the Corona lows, I would say. So maybe the better question, the way I would answer that is, when is the next time that value really leads again? Banks, and I think energy is really cheap right now. So banks, energy, aerospace is very interesting. If you pull up charts of SPR and HIII, although that might be Navy, ATRO is another one. Anyway, whatever other SPR is the one I tend to like.
What about Lockheed Martin?
That's more defense. I mean, Boeing. I'll just say go Boeing. But if you pull up the charts of any of these, you had a very nice initial kind of, I call it like vaccine reopen spike a few months ago. Honestly, now you have a really nice basing pattern. So the question, I guess, is the next move, down or sideways? Does it come because of rotation, or does it come because of it takes everything down? I think that's the thing we don't know. The most bullish aspect of this market, frankly, has been every time something hot corrects, it does. You hit it. It rotates. Now, well, what would you call the rotation right now? Is what basically a low quality rotation. I don't know. What's the old Wall Street term? Every dog has its day. Flight to junk. I don't know. There's some exact old Wall Street beautiful term. Is when the last move is the chase to trash, basically, or something like that.
Dash for trash.
Something like that. Yeah. But that's if we've had a rotation at all lately, it's been the short squeeze plays and the cheapest stocks, the deep value stocks, or a deep value stock that's actually not dying. I mean. So everybody talked about the theater chain that was going to go bankrupt. Nobody talks about like Cinemark, right? So Cinemark, CNK?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, CNK. Yep. I mean, this was a great reopen play mid-year, but if you this thing's not up a ton. I mean, it's up a lot percentage-wise. Pull up a 5-year chart.
Yeah,
it's still that. Way below.
But let me interject here, and then
please do.
Isn't there a whole transformation going on to digital? Wasn't that going on before the pandemic? Like, who needs to go to a movie and pay $9 for a bowl of popcorn? I mean, it seems like this is, and I remember talking about, this with Gene Munster, and it was like the pandemic kind of accelerated trends. And maybe I'm dying to go to the movie theater, but I'm just thinking maybe the pandemic just accelerated a trend.
I would totally agree with that, but I would say I don't think it's an all or none. I think that like, in other words, everybody that quit going to movies as often as they used to, they've been doing that for 3 or 4, maybe even 8 years. Meaning that people have been watching more movies at home for, I'd say, almost a decade, 5 years for sure.
Yes, sir.
So if anything, I don't know. I have to remember where I found the date on this, but. If anything, we might get a re-acceleration of going to movies again, because I think when you can't go, then you want to go. When you can go, then you'll be all like, I'll do whatever. But when you can't go now, actually going to the movies might be kind of a cool thing to do again. I don't know.
It's novel. Sean, real quick, give us one pick for next week.
Ooh. Or what's on your radar? What's on your radar?
You know what? I'm gonna go back to SPAC. And I'm gonna say Clove. CLOV.
Whoa. Okay. Here we go. CLOV.
I mean, you put me on the spot, but here's the name I wanted to talk about, by the way. Intel. There ain't anybody in the world talking about Intel. They had the most horrible news in the world when the stock was 45, 46, 48. Everybody thinks their foundries are worthless. I could go on and on and on. I'm long from 45, 47, 48, 50 probably. Today, I just said this is going to be my next top 20 pick in my feed. So I think it's worth minimum 75. It could go to 125. So, but Clove, I'll take Clove for next week. Intel's kind of had a hot move already. There, the Biden announcement, maybe the chip thing, maybe they use the Emergency Act, start to, building more chips here. That would be huge for Intel. But it's had a pretty good pop last 2 days. But long term, hey, you remember Qualcomm 50, 55, 60?
I know.
This is my next Qualcomm.
All right, man.
This isn't Qualcomm at 50, it's Qualcomm at 65.
Okay. All right. Blasting off here, going into the close, 39, 32, 75. We just hit. Blue skies ahead. SPOOs open, futures open Sunday night. They'll trade till they open 6 p.m. until 1 p.m. on Monday. We reopen again. So, Spencer, you want to? Well, first, Sean, big thank you, Sean. It's been a long time. I know you've been a busy man. We'll get you back here on At the Close show real soon, man. Ciao, brother.
Appreciate it, Sean.
Go mix up a nice one.
You can see Sean's handle out there at UDallTechStrat on Twitter. Public service announcement. Next week marks 45 days from the end of the first quarter. You know what that means. That means, yes, 13 Fs are coming. And I know I say this every time. I know I do. But this time, I'm really interested, right? I really want to see what the hedge funds, especially with all the this is for last quarter, but still, with all the GameStop nonsense that just went down a few weeks ago, I want to see who is ahead of this trend in the fourth quarter. This is, of course, massively delayed information. Still, it's always interesting to see what the hedge funds were buying and selling or adding and deleting last quarter. Warren Buffett, Bill Ackman, Einhorn, the whole group. So that's what I'm watching for next week. We do have some earnings coming still. We are getting into the retail portion of the earnings season. Walmart is next week. CVS is next week. Baidu is next week. Baidu's not boring. Baidu's not boring. What else do we got?
Not Baidu, but what else did you? Walmart?
Dropbox is next week. Roku.
Who's our guest on Tuesday?
Roku is next week. There. Roku's interesting. That's a high flyer, right? I'm going through the Benzinga Pro calendar. That's kind of it. Twilio is next week. They're interesting. All right. Who is our guest for Tuesday? Of course, we have no show on Monday. We're having a repeat segment. We had Bill Hart on our show. It was not last week. It was the week before, I think.
Correct.
And Bill Hart, if you weren't watching that show, it was on February 2nd. He blew my freaking brain out with gave me some new knowledge about how shorting works. Bill's going to come back and explain more about market structure and shorting to us on Tuesday. So super excited for that. So smash that like button if you have not already. Of course, there it is. The Benzinga Bootcamp is coming up February 20th. That's not this Saturday. It is next Saturday, a week from tomorrow. BenzingaBootcamp.com. Thanks to all of our guests today, all of our guests this week. And that's it. So hit that like button if you have not already. Hit share, hit subscribe, do what you have to do. We appreciate that. Joel, thanks a lot.
Yeah, we got to have that the market structure guy on for Geeky Dennis. He gets all talking market structure and stuff. We got to keep him happy. So that's what we're gonna do.
All right, everyone have a great weekend. Remember, markets closed Monday. Joel just said it, but you're gonna forget it. So I'm telling you again, we will be not here, but we'll be here in spirit. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday.